Good morning, my name is Roelof Lamberts at ServiceNow. We would like to welcome you all to today's webinar co-hosted by Logicalis SMC. The topic of today's webinar is about optimizing reporting in ServiceNow. As you know, the webinar will be recorded and the link to the recorded version will be sent to you early next week. And if you have any questions during the session, please use the Q&A functionality box on your screen, and we try to answer most of your questions by the end of at the end of the session. For now, I would like to hand it over to Ed van den Akker, Managing Consulting at Logicalis. Ed, it's all yours.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome everybody to this webinar about reporting. Let me bring up the first slide. The subject of today is about reporting and more how reporting can help you to understand your business and support you in your daily work. And the agenda for today, as you can see on your screen, is that we talk about reporting, the purpose of what we experience in real life, day to day, how it should be, how it could be. And we will also have a small demo in ServiceNow to show you how it could be. And at the end, I will tell you something about a small approach for reporting. And of course, we will do some Q&A at the end completely. First topic, the reporting. What is it? And if we talk about reporting, then we can of course have a look at Wikipedia. And what you see on the screen is the definition what Wikipedia tells about reporting. And of course, reporting is about information that we use for our work in any kind of form to help us support doing our job. So what you can see from the definition, it is not just a report as we normally would talk about it, being a report in a printed form or whatever. It can be any form of a report. A list in ServiceNow is also a report. A picture you send from somebody is also a report, as long as you can use that picture for telling something about the situation. Reporting should be specific, fit for the job. Information valid for me may not be interesting for you. Information that helps me doing my job might not help you doing your job. It should be in a form that I understand, in a form that I like, in a form that shows the information in a correct, understandable form for me. And also be aware that information in reporting can be about past results, but it is also about the actual situation we have now. And it would be very nice if reporting would also help us to make future decisions. So a report, presentable, any form you like, fit for the job, and it should help me to create future decisions. Let's just give an example of how in daily life we see reporting. And if I go in my car and I want to drive from A to B, and this would be the road that I'm traveling, yeah, there is the road, then of course I will have a dashboard showing me all kinds of information. The most important information probably is about the revs when I need to shift gear, and of course also information about my speed. And then I realize that I'm in a traffic jam and I know that I will probably be too late. This was the situation, let's say 10 years ago. But in the meantime, we also have SatNav. And SatNav helps us to add current information, because be aware, we still talk about the actual situation, but that information can help me to make a future decision, and that future decision is take a different road, and by taking the different road you will be in time. So actual situation, but information about the situation. Driving your IT organization is actually nothing different than that. You want to go from A to B, and you want to do it as clean and nice as possible. So you will have reports available for you that show real-time views on the incident backlog. So you know that you are that you need which work to assign to. And if you look at your SLA reporting, then you see that you missed your objective because you only look at the report. In this situation, like driving a car, you only have the current situation, you only look at the number of incidents, and then at the end you might see that you miss your SLAs. So what you would like to have is additional information like the SatNav in your car, showing additional information like the incidents that are not worked on, and allowing you to make a valid decision to say, okay, I need to reassign work to somebody else. At this moment, let's first hand over to Michael, who's sitting next to me, and he will show you some reports that are already available in ServiceNow where you can work on. Michael, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ed. So what I would like to do is in 2 short demos give you an overview of some of the reporting capabilities in ServiceNow. And as you can see here, we are now looking at a list of current open incidents. And instead of going to the report application within ServiceNow, I would like to leverage some of the capabilities within the system, because actually this is a report already, but I want to leverage some of the functionality to create, in this case, a quick start, if you would like to say, to build your reports within ServiceNow. So from this list of current incidents, we have the ability, and if the screen is going with me, yes, I can see, we have the ability to, for example, already export the information you have in Excel sheet or PDF files, etc., etc. But we can also use this functionality right here and start creating a dashboard from anywhere you are within ServiceNow. So any list you are in, you have the ability to create a report. And this is the basic reporting functionality within ServiceNow. So what you're looking at now is we are looking at incident data right here on the top. We're looking at a type bar. Now within the system there are many forms or types of reports available. You can see those right here: time series, pies, donuts, trend charts, etc., etc. You can pick one and actually start building your report from right within the system and right from where you are at that very moment. Right? We can see this, we can group this, and you can build here your condition. Here you can say, okay, my active is now true, or I can build a condition. I want to have the incidents from only the last 3 months or anything like that. And it's really easy to configure just by using filter conditions and this information on the top. I can give it a name and I can share it, or I can schedule it. So I have the ability to schedule it to certain days or certain people. I can share it with my team, I can share it with the company, or I can use it as a data source or use it in the dashboards within my organization. So this is a quick overview on how you can quickly build a sample report within the system. And let me switch back, because just now Ed mentioned the word of the dashboard, right, in your car. And while I'm at the incident level, let me start by one of the more advanced functionalities. So if I drill right into an incident, right here you were looking at an incident ticket, we have the ability to help the service desk, so the reporting functionality has the ability to help the service desk agent do his work, make decisions, make sure they do the right assignments, make sure that the correct business service is selected, make sure that the customer is well informed on expected dates of when this incident should be solved. So we have here this analytics button, right? And so we're now drilling into the dashboard in the more leading indicators, as you will learn later on in the presentation. But the service desk agent now has contextual information right at his fingertips. He can see, for example, for this business service, I just pressed the button for email. For example, are there many open incidents today? Do we need to inform someone because there is a spike somewhere here, right there? Are there any changes on this business service going on? Are these urgent changes? All these sort of contextual information around this business service email is presented to the service desk agent to create an informed decision. And it's not only for the business service, we can also look at, for example, the assignment group and present that contextual information regarding the assignment group as well. So here this ticket is assigned to the hardware assignment group, and the agent can look at the incident backlog, for example, or here to the left, the expected close time, which you can then communicate to the client when it's on the phone. Okay, so that gives you a small, quick first demo to show you some of the basic reporting functionalities, and the more advanced one, the contextual ones that help a service desk agent solve tickets faster. So back to you, Ed.
Okay, Michael, thank you. What you saw is the what we said, the reporting in different forms, fit for the job, for specific people, and added with some information. However, life is not always as we think it should be. So let's dive in a little bit in what we see in real life. And for example, let me start with a small example. When you, like me, I'm driving a lease car, and the lease company would like to help me drive my car better, probably, by when I log into the lease company site, they give me a nice overview of some information in my car. And this is what I want to like to show to you, because reporting is just more than a nice graph. You can have a nice graph, but does it actually help me? Does it tell me the information that is required? You see information about crashes, about tickets I have, my fuel consumption, and the places where I fill up my car. Well, I'm not a very good driver, as you can see, because crashes are in red. However, the last crash I had was a very small scratch on the left door 2 years ago, but still I'm in red. So that does not really motivate me to say, well, I'm in the red, but what is red in this? And what is green? And what do I need to do to go to green? And how many tickets do I get? Well, I'm in green. That sounds okay. But how many tickets do you get? Do you need to get before you move to red? So it is a nice graph, but what does it tell me? I don't know what red is. I don't know what green is. And where is, for me, the benefits to drive better? So they present a nice report. The question is, does it add any value to me when driving? And what we see quite often also in the in real life are things like, let me wait until the screen shows up, that you see that form is sometimes more important than the content. Nice graph, but is it actually showing me the information that I would like to see? Let me give you an example of that. For example, and I'm hoping this works. Nope. Can you see the information? Ik kan niet op een linkje klikken. Can I see the information in one overview? And the form in there is quite important. You will see that like a lot of managers would like to see information, as you saw in the last picture, where you see that it is red or green. But not always is a bar chart the best way to show the information. Sometimes just a list will give you more information. So be sure that you select the correct information to be sure that you do that. And does it show the whole picture? Not always a report will show you the complete picture. Let me give you an example of that. If you look at this picture here, you see that I have a question. My daughter is on vacation, and what I would like to see is how is she doing. So what she did, she showed me a picture, in this case to my wife. Hello mom, all is fine here. And I look at the picture, I see, well, that looks good. Blue sky, nice view, open everything. This looks really perfect. I am really satisfied and content that. However, if I would have seen the whole picture, the question is, am I really interested? Am I really glad with what I see? It is somewhere on the roof of a hotel. Maybe it is a hotel. It isn't that nice picture that we saw in the first place. So if I show some information in a report, is it always the total picture that I would like to see? And another one that you see is that if you go to a report, that you need in a report always the content of the complete information. Let's take an example. We have an SLA target which is 95%. In November we achieved 87%. What is my feeling? Am I happy? Am I dissatisfied? If I ask this question, most of the people will say, well, 87%, that's not what I would like to see because my target was 95. Still, there could be very good options to show to me that I'm very happy at all. Because it depends on the context where we're coming from. If I come from the red line, where my first reports were that in January my SLA was about 98%, and now I'm down to 87. No, I am not pleased at all. But suppose that the blue line is the real life. That in January my SLA reports were 70%, and at this moment I am at 87. That means that I have improved dramatically already in my report. So it's not that bad at all. So you definitely need to have the information in the report to make sure that you have all the information that you need. So back again, be aware that if you have a report, that can I see the information at a glance? Does it show me the whole picture? What about the context? And of course, ask yourself the question, does it allow me to make a valid decision? And in the examples given, I hope you understand what I mean with about content and the whole picture. Also, there is sometimes you see, well, not even sometimes, but you see there's a mismatch between the organizational level and the level of information as displayed. Too much detail on top level, too less detail on operational level. But also too much detail in overall to make a good decision to steer on. Being distracted by the amount of information shown on your information. I'm not quite sure how many people can remember the dashboard of the old Volkswagen Beetle. It only showed one indicator, your speed. And I used to drive a Beetle. And the only indicator I had in front of me was my speed. Where a friend of me who drove a very nice sport car having 26 indicators on his dashboard. Showing oil temperature, oil pressure, brake fluid information, etc., etc. You know what the end result was? I never had a speeding ticket. He had speeding tickets every day because he was so distracted by all the indicators on his dashboard that he didn't pay attention to the one that was important to him. So too much detail is not what you are looking for. You're looking for the exact amount of detail to do your job, fit for the job, as I also showed in the first slide. This one, of course, is something you will realize quite often. It is very difficult for people to define the real KPIs that they will steer on. It is, of course, also not very easy to find the information that you need to steer on. Also, what we see is that people manage on data instead of information. And that is what we mean with the difference between lagging and leading informations. And let me try to give you an example of that. Not many of you have probably seen me before, but I'm about 108 kilograms heavy. And what I would like to be is I want to lose some weight. So what I do is that I step on the balance. So my objective is I want to lose weight. So what do? I step on the balance every day. And I create a kind of a report from that. And that report will show me what happens, what the results of being on the balance every day is. So it will show me that I'm at 108, 175, 18, 185, 18. That is nice. it shows me that I'm not getting there where I want to go, but does it actually help me to make a decision to improve on my weight, on my objective to lose weight? And this is a typical example what you see quite often. Also in IT, we create a lot of reports only showing this kind of information. But where is the steering information? Where is the information that I need to steer on losing weight? If I want to lose weight, then I need more information. I need information, excuse me, I need information about how many calories have I consumed? How many calories have I burned today? And if I have some basic information showing me how many calories are in the food I eat and how many calories I burn by a specific activity that I do, and then I create a list, a daily report, then it would show something like this. And this daily report that you will see now is showing you that on the 1st January there was too many food, there was too many activities or too less activities. But on the week afterwards you see that I was better in my food and even better in my activities. This kind of a report is actually showing me where to steer. Now I have the information that says you have eaten too much on January 1st, you have done too less exercise, so do a little bit more exercise on January 1st. You need to do some activities to burn an additional 1100 calories. This is a kind of a report where we talk about leading indicators, information that show me where to go, where I come from. Let me switch back to the original slide. So leading indicators, that is what I need for doing the steering on my daily job. Lagging indicators will help me to do on operational level my job, but if I want to make decisions to improve, then I also need leading indicators. Also what we see is that people aim to be complete rather than aim to be correct. You can have a lot of information in your site, in your location, in your business, but what you see is that people want to have all the information that is available in a report, and forgetting that it's probably more important to start a little small and having the information correct, and then grow on the report to make it more complete. Source data may be unreliable. Source data is not always in one database. What you see in quite some systems is that reporting is a copy of an operational database. But we do not know how often it is copied. We do not know how data security is arranged in that reporting database. We have the data security perfectly on order in the source data, then we copy the complete data to a reporting database, and we do not do anything about security in that reporting database. So if we turn that around and say, okay, if that is the reality, then what should we do? How could it be? How should it be? And first of all, I would like to say that if we talk about creating a report, a dashboard, then first, of course, we need to define the information requirement. But be aware that if you define the information required, that you take into account the position and the role of the person who is asking that information. Make sure that he has the right detailed level and the right information. Focus on leading where possible. It's quite easy to have lagging information, because that's always the most easy information to obtain. And the question always is, go into the discussion with somebody and ask him, where do you want to steer on? What information is required for you to gain your objectives? In my example, the information of calories in the food, the amount of calories that I burn in activities. They are to be found, and they are there. Incident management for example, if I want to improve my incident management process, the indicator is not how many incidents are open on a specific date. An indicator can be how many tickets, how many incidents are being reassigned, how many incidents are being reopened after they have been solved. The amount of tickets being, the amount of reassignments of tickets is normally an indicator of how well, or actually how bad, my incident process is. And the amount of tickets that are reopened is an indicator that shows me how well the quality of my information about my resolution process is. Like, for example, also customer survey information. And when you have the data of the information required, then select the data sources. Where to find the information? Is it available? What is about the refresh rate? How is security arranged? Is it reliable? And the good thing there is that ServiceNow is a single source of truth. You don't have to get all the data from all kind of source data. Most of the information that you will need is already available in ServiceNow for your service management processes and other supporting processes that we have in ServiceNow. And when you have done that, then you talk about how do we want to present it. Is it a bar? Is it a list? Is it a pie? Whatever. Trend. Many possibilities there, but first talk about the content. And you do so for any level level in the organization, both on the content, both on the form. What you normally will see is that a manager is more interested in a dashboard. His information should be mostly leading. Process owners are much more often interested in trend charts, which is a mix of lagging and leading indicators. Operators, operational level, they are interested in lists, and those are mostly lagging. And a good example of that is the My Work and the My Group Work list that we have in ServiceNow, showing the work they need to do. And also be aware that improvement is an ongoing thing. Do not just create a report, have it ready, and then say, tick in the box, that's it. Keep on asking yourself the question whether the report is still okay, and then, if required, improve on it. Okay, so far for this how it could be, how it should be. I will hand over to Michael again, and he will show you in a short demo what are the possibilities of ServiceNow, and he will do so in a few moments. So, Michael, up to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ed. You can already see my screen. Okay, for the next part of the demo, I will focus in on two use cases basically. What you now see on the screen is a dashboard for a incident process owner. So this dashboard is containing a mix of actually lagging and leading indicators that Ed just talked about, and gives the incident process owner, the ability to investigate its process and to make adjustments and to improve the service that you deliver to your clients. So we can see an open incident backlog to the left here. We can see the trend already going on here in the box as well. You can see it's dropping a bit. It's green. That's good. Right, we can see an overview on the first call resolution rate and the mean time to resolve on the right as well. Going a bit to the, scrolling a bit down, we have another interesting view on the incidents. It is the open incident backlog versus age view. So what you can see here is all the incident over time. It's a trend chart for this company. So I can see that I have more than 719 incidents open somewhere between the 6th and 13th of March. And I can also see that it's a declining trend. Now, on this current date, which is April, I only have 400 incidents open. And as you notice, when I scroll or hover over the chart, you will get the results presented to you by in a nice little box. So you can see that the open incidents are declining, but what you can also see here is the average age of open incidents is actually growing. So what we can see here is that the average age of open incident currently is almost 12 days. We might have an issue here, right? So probably the service desk, there is programs. What did the service desk do? They probably closed the most easy tickets to begin with, to start decreasing their open tickets, but more complex are open. So it's probably a good thing for the service desk, for the incident process owner, to have a chat with the service desk manager and see and investigate how this process can be improved, right? Now, as in all ServiceNow, you can click on things and you can drill down and investigate any further. So we could investigate if this is a regional thing or if this is something on a particular business service as well. But I won't do that. I would like to demo you just another visualization of ServiceNow. This is called the Workbench, right? And what you can see here is another view for the incident process owner, which actually investigates the number of the work done by the different tiers within the organization. So we can see the group tiers here on the upper part of the screen, and I have some supporting indicators right here. So again, when I hover over my mouse, I can see that now on the March 4th, the average age of an incident was 5.8. My first call resolution, well, again, you can see that in time. I can fix that, and I can actually see the trend for the group tier 1 results. Now below that you have breakdowns. Now you can investigate. That's another layer of method or layer of analysis. Nice word. To investigate a bit further. So we can see here, for example, the priority, how many of these tickets, and you can see the 49 here, are in which priority. And again, I can also click on, for example, the first call resolution, and then I will get an overview by priority of how many things are, what's the score on the first call resolution rate for, in this case, tier 1. Now there are many sorts of visualizations within ServiceNow. This is an example how you can investigate your tiers and your reassignments and see and investigate how many reassignments you have, etc., etc. And it provides you with some of the leading and lagging indicators. Okay. Last thing I would like to show you really quickly is I talked about managers. Managers like dashboards, right? So another part of ServiceNow is a functionality called Service 360. And Service 360, well, as it's in the name, it provides you with an overview, a 360 overview of the things that are happening within your organization. And this is an example of a dashboard for example, a CIO. And you can see we have the category investment here, and he's looking currently at the number of upcoming projects within an organization, right? So these sort of dashboards, looking at the number of projects, but also, for example, look at the total estimated cost of the projects, right? And I'm not sure if the thing is, provides you with a high-level overview. Again, these things are clickable, so we can down drill, as a manager would like to do, look from your dashboard and then drill down into the specifics of these investments, for example. So this is information from your projects, but you also have the information on your risk, on your finance, but also on your operation. So this gives business service owners, CEOs, people who are interested in dashboards, a complete overview of the service availability of your business services within your organization. Now, with all these maps that you just saw, when you're left, you're bad, right? When you're up left, that's where the eye tend to go. That's a bad thing. You can see here that most of the servers have a reasonably good uptime, but apparently in the finance services, business services is something, is the availability not very good, right? But at these operations, your manager could also look at, for example, the SLA breach, the number of cases, etc., provides you with a high level overview, but also the Net Promoter Scores. So Net Promoter Scores, how do people think of me? Are they likely to recommend me? Well, a Net Promoter Score of minus is bad. So the securities lending here is a bad thing. So you can now look at how the business services are doing and how your customers are looking at this. Now the final thing is I want to drill down, because as in ServiceNow you can always drill down to the content, to the meat, and now you can see again the dashboards coming from the performance analytics application within ServiceNow. You can see that Net Promoter Score here is minus 40 and it dropped 50 points, right? You can see it's from plus 10 to minus 40, it dropped 40 points. Now you have the ability again to down drill and to investigate, etc. Look at the workload, but it might have something to do with the availability, something like that. And this is the last one actually. You can drill down, investigate, and now we can see that this Net Promoter Score probably has something to do that the service is has been down for the last couple of days. Okay, that was the quick overview. Back to you, Ed.
Okay, Michael, thank you very much. And let's switch back to the screen.
This one, right?
This one, yes. Yes. Okay, thank you. So we have seen in the demo, and I will now go on with the an approach for reporting and some tips and some things that you might take with you when you create reports and dashboards. First of all, focus where your main concern is. Low-hanging fruit, all those kind of terms, all are applicable here. Also, what you have seen in the demo, it has no added value to start with management reporting if the underlying operational reporting is not correct. You see that management reporting is built up of operational reporting, and you need to be able to drill down. If your operational level is not correct set for data, then you cannot create management information. So be aware that you do not start creating management information if you're not sure that the underlying information is correct. Start small, as I already said before. Better create few reports that are actually okay than create a lot of reports where you're not sure that they are correct. You better have a report showing you how well is my incident management organization doing, and do not have any information about change management processes at all, because then you are aware that you do not know where you are with change management, rather than you have a kind of report about change management where you think that it is correct. Keep on improving. It is no use saying this is the report, this is good. Always investigate where you can improve. The Deming circle: create, work, evaluate, improve. Always keep on asking why. If a manager comes to me and say, I need this report, my first question to that manager is always, why do you need it? What are you going to do with it? Which information in that report actually helps you to do your work? And you will be surprised that if you ask the why question, that quite often that manager does not have an answer to you. So you need to help him sometimes finding that answer. Remember the pitfalls that I gave you at the start of the presentation, and some small tips that you can use when creating reports. is there a report that I can reuse? The information requirements are not specific for a manager. An incident manager has in 90% of the cases the same information requirement as a change manager. The data source may differ, but his requirements are still the same. So it's easier to have a report of which you know that it is fine and then change it to the specific content of that a new requirement, then build it from scratch on. Always be sure that you focus on the content first. First, be sure that the data in your report is correct and shows what you have, then focus on the form. Start broad and then narrow down. If you create a report, don't put in all the filters. If you create a dashboard, don't put in all the filters, etc., etc., because then if something goes wrong in your report, you do not know where that comes from. So start broad and then narrow down. And that concludes my presentation about reporting. Roelof, I think back to you.
Yeah,
maybe you can see whether we have had some Q&A.
Yeah, I received a few questions. Thank you very much, both of you, Ed and Michael, for providing valuable insight into the reporting capabilities of the ServiceNow platform. First question that I have received is about, you spoke about the latter part of your presentation was about the approach a company should take. Can you give example of where you have used that approach? I think that's a question for you, Ed.
Yeah, well, we have done this in a big banking company where we actually started building reports for dashboards on all processes on all levels, yes. So banking is an example, and then at the moment I'm working at a chemical company where we implement HR case management. So it's not only for IT, but it's also for case management, where we are now working on dashboards and configuring the reports that belong to that.
Yeah. Thank you. Another question is from real life. How do I convince my management about the difference between leading and lacking? Can you say anything about that?
Convincing a manager is a job for itself. What I would like, my approach always is be open and honest, and also a little bit straightforward. So I like to give the examples, and the best examples are normally the examples where you take it away from his business, but take it to daily life. The example of how do I lose weight is I think a very good example to show to a manager if you would do it that way. If you want to lose weight, what kind of information would you require? And the example of the Beetle dashboard versus the sports car dashboard is also an example that I like to use.
Yeah, the example of using losing weight is very much appealing to me as well, so that's a good one. Last question before we close this webinar is about if I already have the steering information, do I still need to insert this specific data in ServiceNow as well?
Well, yeah, you might do that, because that brings you to the single source of data, which makes reporting a lot more easy than bringing it together from all kinds of, then you need to export data from ServiceNow, from the other tools to the other tools, and then somewhere create your report where if you bring it into ServiceNow, you have a single source of truth.
Okay. All right. Thanks again. I will send we will send the link to the recorded version as said early next week. And for some closing remarks, I would like to hand it back to you, Ed, for the finishing touch.
Yeah, everybody in the webinar, thank you for your attention. Be aware, this is only theory, what we have told you, but now for real life. Wish you a lot of success with what I told you. And if it might have your interest and you would like to see more or talk about more, then of course you can ask me the questions. Thank you very much again, and have a good day.